Welcome to the Curry Gumbo Podcast with Nicole and Ashley, and today we have a TV episode review. Stay tuned. Okay, Sanford and Son pilot episode.
1972.
When was good times? Or as Mia says, bad times. You saw one
Ooh,
episode was like,
facts. February 8th,
oh, this was later.
1974.
Mia watched one episode and was like, this was like some bad times.
Child, she ain't never lied, because let me tell you it wasn't even the money that bothered me. It wasn't the apartment, because from what I can tell, the apartment looked all right. They just needed one more bedroom for them boys. They ain't got to sleep
Just
out
sleeping on
on
the
the
couch.
couch together. Okay, that kitchen looked fine. It was unfortunate that they ate oatmeal every morning. I'm like, can we doctor the oatmeal up at some point? Do we have a berry?
We got
Fresh
some
fruit costs
cinnamon.
money. Hey,
We have
eh,
cinnamon and
hey,
nutmeg.
hey, guess what?
Brown
But you ate
sugar.
though. But you ate though. You know what I'm saying? Can I get a grit? Can I get some
Exactly.
grits at some point? But it was Thelma and all that whining that I could
Oh.
not take. I said, if this girl whines one more time, it's like she would always, like, I knew that was the moment where, like, trouble is coming, or trouble is here, and she was the way that the family found out about the troubles. Like, oh man, JJ's girlfriend is on crack. Thelma, even though, like, that's, I don't think that drug use has to always be such a debilitating thing. Y'all better go listen to Dr. Carl Hart, whatever his name is, up out of Columbia University.
Oh, he the one
Who be
who likes cocaine.
Well, he be talking,
Is
child. He
that
be talking
him?
about doing heroin,
Oh.
but he says that it depends on where you get it. Like, it doesn't have
Oh
to be
my
so.
gosh.
You can do this stuff recreationally, is his argument, and he offers a very compelling argument. But anyway, I say all of this to say, a young girl, a young teenage girl being addicted to crack is heartbreaking. But Thelma, I'm busy. Okay, we got our own problem. Ain't nobody. Thelma, all that whining, I ain't got time. Ma'am, go sit down.
Sanford and Son. I think I knew this before. It was a remake or a reboot of Steptoe and Son. Wasn't it like a British show?
I didn't
Yes,
know
it was
that.
UK. So Steptoe and Son came out in 1962, which would have been 10 years prior. And it's British, two white guys. And this is where Sanford and Son kind of, I guess they're American remake, but we've seen American remake of British shows
All the
throughout
time.
history. Yeah.
What
Every
show
show.
ain't? What show
Exactly.
ain't, except for Living Single? Which show?
Exactly. Every show is a British remake. Okay, so starring Fred Sanford. No. Starring Red Fox.
I think he's one of those men, or one of those actors, where he just becomes
Yeah,
synonymous with his
he's
character.
Sanford.
Like, yes, that's Fred Sanford. I don't know what y'all talking about.
I know he's a comedian, but I don't know his comedy. Too young for his comedy. He's Sanford. This episode, it was I had a lot of thoughts about it because it's about the father and son. This is an
Hmm.
older father and son. In episode 2, he said he was 65, and so I'm
Hmm.
assuming the son is around like 35, 40. But we see this is a point in life where like the son was kind of like the parent,
Yes.
and the father was, I guess, more childlike. And so the son just really having to parent his dad in a way. The mother has passed years ago.
He had
And
23, I believe.
yeah, they said
Like,
23 years ago. The son, he wants, it seems like he wants to get out of from his dad, but from his, I guess, wherever town they live in,
They're in
they
LA.
have. Oh yeah, that is right. They did say they went to Hollywood. But he wants to get away from, I'm gonna say like the neighborhood. He wants to
Mm,
go on to better things. They have this junkyard and they're selling junk or antiques. And you see the
yes.
son just really trying to just like elevate. And he says many times, I'm trying to get out of here. But it seems like he kind of feels bad because he can't leave his dad. And his dad has like health issues. They kind of joke and say he's had like 15, 16 heart attacks.
Girl,
And
Fred Sanford ain't got no damn health issues. He a
but that's
fool.
but
That's
he
the only health
yeah.
issue he got.
But it's like, damn, I kind of felt, I was like, wow, this is a lot for like a comedy episode, because it's like, damn, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to kind of just getting away from your parents, but when they're
Hmm.
older, it's like feeling guilty.
Yeah. And
And even
that's
Lamont was like,
his
damn, I can't. Saying he
that
was like,
that's
I'm never gonna get married.
yeah.
Like,
That is
can I keep my own
Lamont's
family?
running storyline. I got to leave here someday. I can't be here with you this entire time. I don't want to grow old with you. But I mean, I think we get into like years go by and we're still in the same boat,
He's still
you
there.
know.
He's stuck.
What I
I
I
knew from
think
this first episode he was going to be stuck forever. I was like, oh, he ain't
yeah.
going nowhere.
And it's good that we were talking about good times because I think James is the only black father that I remember from this time. So I, of course, have to watch. I always came into Good Times and Sanford and Son via reruns because I was not a lot. I was not
Oh
around in
yeah,
the 70s. So when I'm thinking about shows that are on in the 70s, I'm thinking about Three's Company. I'm thinking about Good Times. I'm thinking about um, that's all that's coming to mind. Gilligan's Isle.
Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Julia, Diane Carroll.
See, I never watched that. I'm also, and I think this was before the 70s. I'm also thinking about like I Love Lucy, you know.
Oh,
And
that was like 50s, right?
yeah,
50s, 60s.
so I guess what I'm saying is I'm just not used to it's refreshing to watch the pilot episode and see that cuz I've seen this episode before. I just didn't know it was a pilot episode. Like it's interesting to see this black man have this playful banter with his son that kind of leans towards seriousness because when Lamont comes in he's upset with his father because he's playing on the piano, he's not really taking the job seriously, and Lamont's like, I've been out working all day and you're just playing around, and Lamont is getting kind of cute with his dad, and I'm like,
He is.
now see James. Would have
But
just
I
punched you
think
in the face.
but I think when I mentioned their age, that's an important factor, because in good times, them kids was teenagers, early 20s.
Yeah.
But then when you cross over to your 30s and your parents is like 65, I
Hmm.
think that's, people say all the time, like there comes a point when adults, you have to take care of your parents like they your kids. Like, ask,
Yeah.
like, did you take your medicine today? Did you eat today? Did you go to the
Child.
doctor? Like, you really, some people, like, they really have to be on their parents like that.
Well, what we know is this. Fred said he is working. He's coordinating. Okay. What we know is that he is not the person in charge of dusting because they do like they like drag the camera across the screen and it's just everything is brown, but you can tell that it it's brown because it's as if everything is covered in dust
Hmm.
because it is like the junkyard, it's not just in the yard, it's in the house, like it's
Yes.
spilling into the house. And so nothing seems, everything just seems dusty. And I can see, I can, I can understand Lamont's frustration if he is like inheriting all of this junk,
Junk.
and he has to like, he's wading through this for the entire show. Like I can understand that, his patience with his father growing thinner and thinner with every year. Yeah. So Lamont has brought home this figurine, child, and they having a debate about whether or not it's china or if it's porcelain. And all I wanted was some water, because again, it looks so dusty and dry in there that I'm like, where is the Fiji, is it Fiji or Fuji water? Where's the water? Where's the, don't give me Deer Park.
Mm-mm.
Where is the Dasani? Where's the Aquafina? Where's the Smart Water? Where are these things? Um,
They
where's the
was
Crystal
hoarders before
Geyser?
hoarders.
Um, it almost looked like hoarders, but so yeah, and they take it to a shop, and the owner of the shop, wants to give them like $850, and Lamont is like, well, if he's willing to give us $850, then we should take it to an auction and we'll make the big money. And that's also like a recycled storyline for them. It's always Lamont has this, not a scheme, but he has a plan to like help him get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always met with resistance by the father. More than likely it's because Fred doesn't really want his son to leave.
Nope.
Why would he? Fred is, um
He's
in this
low.
episode it's really just Fred and Lamont. And I like that because it's an establishing episode. Like we don't meet it, we don't meet the aunt yet. We don't meet any neighbors. We don't meet any of Lamont's friends. We don't meet any of Fred's friends. It's because well, I don't know, but I'm assuming it's because we want to establish these two as the main characters. Like this is not really an ensemble situation here. This is
Mm-mm.
Fred and Lamont. Um, so they take it to the auction. Fred don't know how to act. What I'm going back to the guy who owns the store. I like that like you don't forget that these are two black men, and
Mm-hmm.
they are in LA. And even though people want to um paint LA
Pretend.
as peaceful and we love everybody here, this man still tells them, "Oh, deliveries are around back." Like I know that you are
Mm-hmm.
not here to buy anything. You guys are obviously servicemen. Get to your job. You know what I'm saying? And I like how Fred in a way is. I like that the show is making a point to point that out
To
essentially.
show that,
um
yeah.
and I mean, even when Lamont is telling him the story of how he came across this object that he wants to sell, and he mentioned white women, and Fred is just like looking down like, oh god, trouble. Like I love it.
First of
So
all,
yeah,
where was
so
you at? West Hollywood. Like, why you? Why? Why are
right,
you over
like
there? We don't live there.
what are you doing? Mm-mm. You
We
messing
don't go
up,
to
son.
Hollywood.
I taught you better, son. So I don't know what you're doing.
Like a white woman. Oh no, 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 no.
So they're at the auction. Folks are betting on this object, and like Lamont says, people are very interested in it. And I think we get up to like $700, and then Lamont bets on the item because he's trying to drive the price up, and he shouldn't have done that because that gives Fred some ideas. So I think we're at like we're over like $1,000, but then
We was at
Fred is
fifteen
over there.
hundred. Lamont
Child,
had
we
it
up
because
there.
Lamont was going. He saw this guy next to him was was bidding, and Lamont kept betting against the guy trying to drive the price up. And he said, "Look, I will stop. If you really want this, I will stop." So he has capped it at 1,500, and then you hear it went for 2,000. You're like, okay, who bet the 2,000? And it's Fred.
Up there winking and scrunching up his mouth because all he knows is that if you do a subtle movement on your with your face, then you are betting. And so he is, I mean, it's as if he's been electrocuted because his face is like it looks like it's involuntarily, fidgeting around. So I mean that is the story. They bring the they bring the object home because they had to purchase it, and Fred drops it. It looks like it's an accident, but he breaks it. So like has he not only has he kind of thwarted Lamont's plans of letting this piece make them some money, but he completely shatters it literally. So like
Yeah, because now they can't even go back to the first
they
store
can't
and get
even
the
sell it.
850 because they
They
could
can't do anything.
because Lamont got it for he said he bought it for $15. And
Do you think
even
he did it
then,
on purpose?
who Fred?
Yeah.
I don't know on purpose, but probably subconsciously.
Yeah.
I think subconsciously he's like, my son can't leave me.
Hmm.
I got all these health issues that are fake.
It
I got
was so
arthritis.
heartbreaking because Lamont is like, I'm out of here. I'm out. Like, I'm
Hmm.
gone. And he, in a huff, like heads over to the truck. The truck won't start. He tries to fix the truck up. He gets back in the truck, tries to start it. And, and that's like, as he's doing all of this, Fred, who has just no pride, nothing, he is like, I am about to beg this man to stay. Come on, son. I'm sorry. Why don't we talk about it? I'll make you some dinner. Now he was like ham hocks, red beans and rice, and neck bones. I was like, fix me a plate, sir. That sounds delicious. There's no woman around. There's only the idea of Elizabeth because she's passed on, and so for him to say that, I just thought it was so cool. Like what James is not doing is fixing a meal. Okay,
Oh no.
if Florida was out of town, then the daughter would be cooking. You
Yep.
know. So I thought it was so wonderful that he was saying like, let me make this up to you
Cooking
um
dinner.
by cooking you something, because what he could have done is say, go ahead, leave. Like both of them could have just huffed and puffed away.
Yeah.
But you never felt like, oh, he's sorry. I never felt disappointed in him. I never felt
And who?
in Fred. Like I never felt like, oh God, you gonna like you're gonna grovel to him? Like you're gonna I never it never felt like he was pathetic. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh.
And I really but I think that's because of just the coolness of Red Fox. Even when he looks like he's on the verge of tears, like he still just feels cool to me.
I think this was a great example of a father-son relationship
Yeah,
that
for
wasn't
sure.
all like so super hard.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you'll see like a father and their son just too hard and yelling, and like you said, we'll leave then. You leave and I'll leave. Go on somewhere. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like that. It was like, son, let's have some supper
Yeah.
and talk about this in the morning.
What it would be, son? The neck bones are the pork chops.
I know. So I
Yeah.
like that we see the softness in these two masculine men.
And I mean, he is this is also what I like because you hear a lot about like, women they play mind games. Like Fred is
Mm.
constantly playing mind games with this young man. The heart attacks, the
Even bringing
suicide
up the
note.
mom, even because at
Yes.
first he was saying before we even knew the mom's been dead for 23 years, he was like, I
Mhm.
read an article that when one spouse dies, the other spouse dies shortly after. And
Mhm.
that's when the mom was like, dude, it's been 23 years. He's like, well, it takes some time. Maybe it takes a couple years. Who knows? It takes some
Yeah.
time. It's like, sir, that's not your story.
But how like you're going to do that with this man's mother?
Mm,
I'm sure Lamont misses his mother. And so
yeah.
you gonna pull on his heartstrings like that? That is cruel.
Then he said again, he was like, well, I'm just gonna guess I'll just go with end up with your mom then. It's like, really?
But I love it because black men, they do that. They do
Oh
that. Have
yeah.
you ever been around a black man who has done something wrong? It's not the worst thing in the world, but they done messed up. And
And they
so
gotta make it
now
up.
in their way of saying sorry is to completely cower to you or to completely be like, well, I guess I don't know. I guess you hate me now. I mean, it's like you hate me. It's like, what are you talking about? It's unhealthy because it's still people like not taking responsibility for the stuff that they do, but it's still like I hate that. I find it hilarious, but I do.
Oh, and then the suicide note.
So again with the games,
Had that boy worried. And that's how you can
calling the
tell
police.
because Lamont throughout the episode he does seem like he's hard on his dad. But then you can tell like he loves his dad. He's not gonna just leave his dad. Like if he wanted to leave, he could and
Yeah.
just be gone. But he cares about his dad. So he can't just do that. And so
And the
he's in a
and
he's in a pit.
I think the suicide note kind of legitimizes Lamont's harshness because at the beginning of the episode, I'm like, man, you doing a lot for the man. He playing on the piano. Like, what is wrong with you? But for Fred Sanford to stage something like that, it's like, oh, see, you full of shit. See, now I know why Lamont is hard on your ass like this because you done lost your damn mind.
And you can't play with something like that.
No.
Because now you're getting the police involved. It's like, don't play with me like that. But we see at the end of the episode, Lamont stays, and we get the sense he's going to be there for a long time. I didn't really watch this show before. I don't know why. I don't think I like the theme music.
I didn't watch it when I was
I
younger.
think
When I
that
was
bothered me.
younger, it felt it that
Old.
old. It like that and MASH kind of like made me sad.
Oh, I
Like
ain't never
MASH
watched
still makes me
Match.
sad. Like that music, I'm like, oh God, ugh, you know. But as I got older, I was like, oh, I can see why people. And I think I always knew about Sanford and Son, but I
Oh
think the
yeah, I knew
first
about it. I just didn't never sat and watched like I would sit and watch Good Times. I would sit and watch The Jeffersons. Um, what else?
I'm sure maybe it's
That's
because
it
I
for the
didn't
70s.
see maybe it was like too masculine for me.
Yeah,
Because
that too.
other than like Aunt Esther, what other woman? I mean, they would have women in the show, but no one
Not in the main
stable
cast.
until like later on. Because I think Lamont gets a steady girlfriend, Fred gets a steady girlfriend, like, and so we have those women. But I never felt like connected to, so I
Mm-mm.
was like, I'm not about to enjoy this. But again, like, we're literally like 5 and 6
No, but
watching
even
reruns, right?
no, but
So we're
even
not.
as I got even as a teenager in my 20s, like these shows always were on TV.
Yeah.
But I can understand why this show was a big deal.
There are moments where it seems like kind of irreverent. Like, he's gonna make the dirty joke. He's gonna make the joke that's like, ooh, like, oh, he's making a racial joke. Ooh. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that's similar to like things that they were doing on the Jeffersons. But I think the Jeffersons is another one that I didn't watch.
I watched The Jeffersons.
I did not. I didn't. Um, I watched All in the Family. I did not watch the Jeffersons. Yeah, I didn't watch Maud. I didn't watch anything that spun off from All in the Family, because it was All in the Family, and then Maud spun off from that, and Jefferson spun off from that, and I didn't really watch any of those.
I don't think I was aware of that they were spin-offs until like later,
Yeah.
and
Well,
then I
that's a lie.
connected the
I
dots on my
watched
own.
Good Times. Good Times is a spinoff of All in the Family, and I watched that.
Really? That one, dang, All in the Family?
Yeah, because she was
How?
there. Wait.
They weren't in New York
Yeah, that I'm lying. Good Times. Wait, is it a spinoff?
because they was in Good Times in Chicago.
Good Times is a spinoff of Maud. Okay, I knew I went crazy, and Maud is a spinoff
Okay.
of All in the Family.
Oh, how is Good Times connected to Mod?
I think Florida must have worked with Maud.
Oh, okay.
Good Times spun off the character of Maud's maid, Florida Evans, into her own series. So yeah. And
Oh, okay.
Maud was Edith's sister. Edith from
Mm.
All in the
Yeah, I
Family.
remember Edith. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know Florida had a job.
Ciao. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hit us up on Instagram at Curry Gumbo. Hope to see you next week. Bye.